This animated model illustrates a planet named Nythera. It's what astrophysicists call a tidally locked world. That means its rotation is perfectly synchronized with its orbit, leaving one hemisphere permanently facing its star, while the other is trapped in a never-ending shadow. On the sun-facing side, the surface is bombarded by continuous, intense radiation. The endless daylight bakes the ground, creating an environment defined by relentless, scorching heat. But cross over to the dark hemisphere, and you enter a region that hasn't seen a single ray of sunlight for millions of years. With no thermal energy arriving from a star, you would logically expect to find a frozen, desolate wasteland. Because our entire understanding of biology is anchored to the sun, our intuition tells us that a world trapped in absolute blackness should be nothing but miles of dead ice. If you were inside a spacecraft plunging through the pitch-black atmosphere of Nythera's night side, the sensors outside your window would register total darkness. As you break through the cloud cover, the darkness shatters. Down on the surface, tiny pinpricks of blue and violet light pierce the mist. The glow comes from towering, self-illuminating forests. Thousands of tree-like structures stretch hundreds of meters into the sky, casting light across a landscape that has never known a sunrise. The canopy spreads out for hundreds of miles. From above, the dense clusters of bioluminescence look as though someone took an entire galaxy of stars and scattered them across the ground. The complete absence of a sun didn't stop biology from taking hold. Instead, the permanent darkness forced the evolution of an incredibly complex, hyper-adapted ecosystem. Down on the forest floor, the anatomy of these giant trees becomes clear. Rather than growing broad green leaves to catch non-existent sunlight, their branches end in enormous, transparent, crystal-like structures. This geological cross-section shows exactly how they survive. Thermal energy rises from deep within the planet's crust, channeling directly into the sprawling root networks of the forest. This geothermal energy trickles outward, feeding billions of microscopic organisms that live in the water running between the roots. As they absorb the heat, these microbes emit a bright turquoise glow, illuminating entire river systems. By tapping directly into the planet's internal heat, the biology of Nythera creates its own light. The forest survives by operating in perfect harmony with the tectonic engine humming below it. High above the glowing canopy, enormous islands of solid rock hover several kilometers in the air, completely disconnected from the ground. This vector field visualization details the mechanics of their suspension. The rock formations are packed with dense deposits of exotic magnetic minerals, which violently repel against Nythera's unusually powerful magnetic field, locking the land masses in midair. Rivers flow off the edges of these floating islands, creating massive waterfalls that plummet into the darkness. But because of the extreme altitude, the water vaporizes into thick, glowing mist long before it ever reaches the forest floor. Traveling further across the hemisphere brings us to the terminator line. This is the exact geographical boundary where the eternal daylight of the sun-facing side meets the permanent night. The clash between the blistering heat of the day and the freezing cold of the night generates massive thermodynamic instability. This temperature differential drives localized windstorms that tear across the boundary at hundreds of kilometers per hour. The high-velocity winds pick up thousands of tiny, glass-like mineral crystals. When static electricity discharges, purple lightning strikes through the airborne crystals, fracturing the light and making the entire storm system sparkle. The planet's most intense physical forces, extreme magnetism and violent thermodynamics, are the exact mechanisms responsible for its most striking visual phenomena. Past the storms lies an ocean that covers nearly a third of the dark hemisphere. At rest, the water is as black as the volcanic beaches lining its shores. But the marine life here responds directly to kinetic energy. The moment the water crashes violently against the dark sand, the impact triggers a chemical reaction, causing waves to erupt in blinding electric blue. Further out, enormous organisms resembling Earth's manta rays glide through the water. As they displace the ocean around them, they leave thick, glowing trails of light that stretch for kilometers in their wake. Deep below these rays lives the ocean's apex organism. It is a single creature nearly a kilometer long. It rarely comes to the surface, but when it does, tens of thousands of biological nodes across its body illuminate all at once. Without the need to rely on solar energy, biological life in this ocean has scaled to staggering proportions, completely free from the environmental constraints that dictate evolution on Earth. If we descend back into the depths of the glowing forest, the dense biological canopy hides something that breaks every natural rule of the planet. Standing silently among the glowing roots is a massive, perfectly circular structure. Its geometry is exact. The exterior surface is completely smooth and entirely seamless, lacking any visible doors, windows, or construction marks. Geological scans confirm the object has stood undisturbed for 2 million years, placing a massive architectural artifact in the middle of this otherwise biological wilderness. After millions of years of total dormancy, the arrival of human explorers triggers a response. Cutting through the soft, organic blue glow of the forest, a razor-thin line of pristine, blindingly white light slowly expands across the dark metallic surface. The ground vibrates as the massive circle physically separates and slides open, revealing a dark, precisely cut staircase descending deep into the planet's crust. The planetary surface houses a meticulously preserved ancient monument. It leaves us to wonder who built this doorway in the dark, and if they ever actually left.